fast track. Kind of like a short track, but a little bit more room.
Welcome in, everybody.
Excited for that. But these
WSSR night here. Oh, we got an interesting setup here. We got a double header. Fucking off track. Are you serious?
Absolutely not.
So we got a double header tonight for our WSSR race. Race 1 will be a 20 lapper, and then race number 2 will be an inverted of the finishing order of the first race. It'll be a 10 lap shootout. So pretty interesting setup tonight, but we're rocking in the middle of qualifying right now. Not doing so hot, but yeah.
For tonight's race, we're back to those high numbers that we have been seeing throughout this season, but hitting your marks, lap 1, lap 2, there is a lot of mistakes that you do not want to make trying to complete these passes.
Took that way too damn slow, I think, but hey, it's alright.
And look at that, 1 minute 47 seconds, but already Ed Shearer Jr. down to 146.187. So that, I mean, these drivers are going to be flying.
As usual, we're going to have the broadcast in the background. Rolling.
2 minute laps on this big, massive, I think,
freaky fast broadcasting. Go give them a follow on YouTube.
Of track here, put multiple turns.
Yeah,
I mean, they're really flying around this track.
No! Damn it, I just got another one. Fuck me. Well, I guess I'm starting in the back.
5-6 miles in total. And what makes this race and configuration different from what
that's frustrating.
we're using the
Fuck, man.
GT IMSA Royal, the Rolex 24-hour configuration. There is no
damn, that's really frustrating.
at the end. We're going full bore after the
sucks.
stop. So these drivers are going to have a lot of speed that they're going to be trying to pick up and stay underneath them. One of the drivers, though, that's going to be having one of the most skillful races of the night.
But yeah, it is a double header race tonight.
He's feeling like he has missed out on some wins the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, like I said, the first race is going to be 20 laps, and then the second race is a 10 lap shootout.
Ago, felt like he had a chance last race.
No stages or anything, no cautions whatsoever.
Not a lot of confidence on a win, but mostly looking for just a solid night in general for the night machine. Who,
especially that inversion in the second race and then 10 laps. Oh boy, better watch out.
Those pedals and
it's
wheels
going to get crazy for sure.
Well, Sam, I'm glad you brought that up about Shane Terrian.
But
I mean, every week he's on that controller, but you wouldn't know it because he looks as smooth out there as any of these drivers, and sometimes even looks more smooth as he's out there leading laps and beating them half the time, it seems. So I'm impressed to see how he's going to handle tonight. I mean, just running a lap time of 148 right there on a controller, that's still,
we're up to 70 subscribers on the channel, so hell yeah.
Some of these drivers are running 145s, but
100
hey,
subscribers.
this track requires a lot of skill, and the fact that he can do it on a controller is quite impressive. And here's Justin Forbes getting ready to complete a lap 2, and Douglas Newbigging down there in the
130 on Twitch. So hell yeah,
has really been having a season where it felt like he's more so throwing away than anyone else. He had a lot of self-spin these last couple of races that have thrown away some decent finishes, and it's really been a full season of just how is Douglas Newbigging?
God, 145.8, Jesus Christ, dude.
Each and every week we go
that's
into.
crazy.
Can he stop the self-sabotaging? It's going to be the big thing that Douglas is focusing on.
New fastest lap for Johnson, 146,
How well can he finish
116.
up front? We'll start lap number 1 for the 7. A lot of other drivers have already cracked their first laps in or their second laps in.
Honestly, I feel like it's just going to be one of those, like, just keep the car on track.
8:30. That's one of the faster times that we've seen.
Because it is going to be so easy to,
it's
going to be so easy to blow and miss every corner.
As the race trim hits these drivers, get a little bit more heat under these wheels, but also the track temp. That is going to be a big factor here tonight, as we are going to be this nighttime conditions starting to fall on these drivers. The sun is starting to set. The track temp during the highest peaks during practice was 88 degrees on the track temp. It's now down to 83.
I'll be right back.
We're down to 83. And Justin, cooling off the temps certainly is helping these road course drivers.
Well, at least you completed a lap, because I fucked
both
both mine, so.
We're going to see some nighttime races out here, which means we're going to get to talk about the old red brakes. It'll be really fun to see these drivers lighting those brakes
it's
up
going to be like,
corners,
just keep the
see
car
who's
on
really
track.
using this car as the track cools down. The speeds, like you said, they should pick up.
Especially with this many people on track, holy shit. I don't think I've ever done a NASCAR road course race with this many people on it.
How this field can handle air fuel that we were
This
given
is definitely
21
something.
laps, but that was when they were running a little.
And then we're going to have an inversion? Oh, hell no.
I think fuel could be questionable for some drivers.
He said, "Oh hell no."
We'll see how that evolves here tonight. Douglas Newbegin again, lap
hell
number
no.
1. There is no NASCAR chicane.
Oh, that's gonna be a
They're
fucking
gonna be
shit
ramping
show.
up these speeds almost up to 200 miles per hour before they slam on the brakes.
At least not running a 157.7.
The oval, cross the line again. First lap, we'll see what the speed is at for Douglas Newbegin. For himself. It looks to be in the middle of the field, and it will. 19th place. Still has time for one more lap.
Dude.
If he can hit his marks perfectly, looks to be 9th place on the board. And for Douglas, again, he's got one lap, but he has to be perfect if he wants to get any more advancement. His other drivers, they've been having their own woes, and some are just resetting and saying, you know what, maybe we'll just start in the back.
Some drivers definitely having some of those woes, like you mentioned, but when we were watching Douglas Newbegin going around, you could see the travel in the car, which will be something we'll be talking about all night. Just how that front spoiler there getting down onto the ground and then rising up as they accelerate, getting back down into the ground under heavy braking. I'm pretty excited for this race. I think it'll be neat to see these drivers, especially at the fact that we have 41 registered. I mean, to see them all go off into that first turn and kind of try and get spread out and get single file into that infield section where there's going to be some tight turns and heavy braking. I think we're going to have a pretty exciting race here tonight.
I think so too. And we have
this is going to be interesting.
Drivers not able to get a single lap validated. Trenton Jump, Bronson Stafford, drivers that were expected to be inside of our top 15, and some were favorites to watch out for a top 5. We'll have to start
it's about
in
time
the
for a new
back,
paint scheme on the
outside
car.
of our top 36. That is going to be a huge, impactful moment of they've got a lot of work to get through this field in this 20-lap run that we're going to have for race number 1. Again, tonight's going to be a doubleheader.
An NCAA car since
NCAA
NCAA comes out in a few days.
Squiggle.
Man, I'm so hyped for that game. I can't wait.
Oh my god, wait so long for this shit.
The field is spread out by about 5 seconds. No, 10 seconds.
Tonight, qualifying concluding. Douglas Newbegin not going to be able to get his time in.
I know I'm faster than a couple people.
Will be her pole sitter here this evening. Congratulations.
All right, boys, let's do it. From the back. From the back.
Race number 1.
From the back.
You're going to be having your positions based off of
Come on.
20 laps, no stage break. Going to be normal race
I'm
points
starting
and
20
bonus
seconds.
Points given out. And if you win and you're inside of the top 25 in points, this win in race number 1. And
I think I'm starting 41st or 40th. It's got to be one of those two.
To be calling down our 41 drivers here this evening. Starting off with your top of the board, it's the 32 of Zach Hall. Then it's going to be his teammate.
I did not
Crawford
anticipate
in
starting
second
close
place.
to the back
last time
than
we were at a
the
road
second
course,
race.
he won at Long Beach. Starting in 3rd, it's Gavin Rogers. Going to be 2nd in points. Larry Yingling going to be starting in 4th. Vincent Sora, another
I'm really scared they're just going to wad him up.
He'll start in 5th.
I mean, with this many cars, that possibility is very, very high.
Help from this road course run.
Just watch it going into turn 1. I have a feeling so many people are going to overdrive it.
And finishing out our top 10, it's the
It's easy to do.
I mean, we were nervous about it at Long Beach.
P11's going to be Tom Senchak in the 26 machine, followed by Drew Jua in P12.
True.
13th is going to be Danny Cochran.
Good luck in the race.
14th, Brian McCann. 15th, Ryan Kelly and Brian Noel. Alongside in 16th position, Douglas Newbegin, who we were watching in qualifying, rolling off 17th with Christus alongside in position 18th.
One thing I'll say is if you do miss turn 1,
Reed and
and you have to, like,
20th position.
not make the whole turn, you got to go completely straight on.
22nd, Ryan
Make sure to
Ferraro,
look at turn 6,
Andrew
because
Medlin in
somebody will
23rd,
probably be exiting out.
Richard
If
Wolfeser,
you T-bone somebody, just
24th,
realize you're
25th,
probably going to get a
Cedric
big
Hunter,
bill.
and Shane Tarian, who we watched in
Ready
car
to
camera
meet Allah.
qualifying, rolling off 26.
27th will find the 06 of Tom Born in 28th.
I'm just gonna go through there and not live.
That's a good idea. Me too.
Hope I get lucky.
Honestly, I've overshot turn 1 so many times, ended up in turn 6 so many times, it's been ridiculous.
Yes, I love it.
Ollie Fonseca in 24th.
This is gonna be something.
Holy crap.
29 of Anthony Gaudio.
Oh, yeah.
My wife is trying to do a fundraiser to raise $300 before tomorrow's powder puff race somewhere else, and if she raised it, she was going to wear a Princess Peach outfit for the powder puff race.
Matthew Rodriguez will start in 39th. 40th is
All
Bronson
right, that's
Stafford,
actually
and our winner from our last race, Mike Tellier.
All right, well, here we go. We're rolling off. Rolling off wherever the fuck we're rolling off at.
Again, 20 laps, not expecting to see anyone hit pit road. And it's going to be a quick takeoff here as the driver.
Good luck, boys.
Stop
There
now.
a restart process, or just going on one pace or go up?
Turn number 3.
On a great flag, I imagine.
See all the drivers
I answered my own question. Sorry.
Over 40 drivers racing here tonight. That's a lot of drivers to watch out for. It's going to be a fun one overall. We're excited to give you all the coverage again here on the Fast Broadcast scene. My name's Sam Dyer. Joining me up the booth is Justin Malarkey and Robert Moyer Jr. Running production in the background. This is just one race over doubleheader here tonight. 20 laps for this race. 10 laps for the next, but we'll invert the whole field based off the results of our
here we go.
Race. So
20 laps in the first race. Let's see how this goes.
Two great racing actions, but these are the points that truly matter the most here tonight. Pace car pulls up. It's the meal on wheels. Daytona Squiggle as Zach Hall, control vehicle on the inside, takes the green. Here we go, road course racing at Daytona.
Oh my gosh.
The field roars down into turn number 1.
And there they are, getting ready, and they're heavy braking into the turn 1. Right side. But next time by is going to be even more drastic when they're going to be flying down in there. But look at this, Sam. 2-3 wide going through that corner. They all single file though coming out of this corner. Very tight.
Oh my God. Look at this cluster.
And another heavy braking point. Going to be a right-hand turn. And then they lead down into those S-type turns. You've got one car a little off track there, but able to get back on.
Watch your right.
A few drivers trying to just stay stable if they can, but overall, got to give kudos to the field. They made it through turn 1, they made it through turn 2 and 3. Now through the dog leg, you're seeing the field go through at the king. Heavy lockup though by Zach Hall as the rest of the field staying in line. But one goes into the grass. I believe that's going to be Cody Reed off into the corner as trouble strikes for some of the drivers out there on track. And it was Cody Reed, can't confirm. Rest of the field drives on through in the 25. A little bit of an overcorrection and it's some off into the grass. The rest of the field, though, they're getting back on course. But there's a few drivers having some issues up onto the transition.
Relatively clean so far.
And that's the 56 of Richard Wolsifer, really struggling for the 56 machine.
You can see how quickly this field has separated themselves from first through the back half of the field. I mean, really getting spread out fast on this track.
Oh my God, so fucking slow through here right now.
They get single file, but then under his braking, you've seen drivers make moves. But right now, Zach Hall up front, doing what he needs to be out front. With the 71 trying to run him down there with the Meals on Wheels machine of Ed Shearer Jr.
In trouble for a driver that did not qualify. That's Trenton Jump at the bus stop. Was not able to slow down in time and tried to take the off-axis road. He ran into the tire wall, and he'll be losing even more time than where he was at before as lap number 1.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, there we go. Incident in turn 1.
That was me. I saved it. We're good.
Work out, but trouble for a driver that was inside of our top 5.
Oh my God.
Crawford going for a spin for himself as the rest of the field trying to move around him.
Oh, how I didn't wreck anyone else.
And that's that major issue. You don't want to give up that position like the 74 did there. Nick Crawford going from 5th. Looks like maybe he fell back to like 14th or 15th position
way worse
just from
than it
that
was.
spin out. I think the driver locking up the tires was the leader there, Zach Hall. We saw him do it.
Oh, wrecking up here on the left side. Stop on the left side.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
Inside of the infield, but then he also did it there going into about turn 3. So that's 2 times locking it.
Oh no! Tom Bourne going around in front of his teammate Shane Terry. That was for 26. This gaggle of cars from around 19th all the way to 30th.
Are also so stacked up on each other too.
It's looking like a log jam with them continuing to stay side by side throughout this pack.
It looked like a little lockup there on the 9. Saw the tire stop rotating, and you see, I was able to see some red there glowing on that brakes, which we're going to see more as this track gets darker. But yeah, you don't want to have those tires sliding too long because then you're just wearing them out, and you really start locking up more and more each lap.
Did you get a slowdown on the first part?
Next corner.
And can confirm Mike Tellier not able to take the green, and starting in pit road was going to be the
I know in practice I clipped it barely, but I don't know why it was a slowdown.
That's Vincent Sora. He has to slow down. He has a
God damn it.
penalty for the 51, and lots of other drivers
sorry,
also
Dakota. I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was trying to get out of the way. Panic.
You're good, dude. No worries. No worries, man.
You have to slow down.
Yeah, those yield penalties. Luckily, it's not like you see in NASCAR where sometimes they force you to pit road, so it's good that he's able to just slow down, give up a couple of
someone just died behind me.
Loose coming out of that corner, trying to put the power down, just not able to do it. He's got all behind him from this number 70 of Aaron Smith II. Look at that, John Forbes. Look at that. I love seeing those brakes glow. You know these drivers are working hard already. It's 2 laps in and they're already on the brakes hard.
They these drivers are marching through all the gears. They will go up to 5th gear and drop them first. They're dropping into 1st gear practically every corner except for...
Gonna be starting in the front next race.
I see later on the new drivers deciding to stay in.
I feel like some people are fucking sandbagging it.
Overall, 1st gear is your friend to exit out of these corners as fast as possible as you're right on board with Vincent.
Ooh,
Sora.
68.
Okay, Dakota, the next car is green 25, and their rating is 5.3.
Heading on to the NASCAR oval section. This is what NASCAR oval turn 1 would be. See Sora trying to ramp up through the gears, catch up to speed, get a little bit of the lick of the draft ahead of Brian B. Johnson, but a little bit too far back, not too comfortable or confident. Is the 51 has to be frustrated with giving up so much time because of that yield penalty.
Well, the yield penalties, but like you said, giving up that time, a lot better than what it could have happened. It could have been way worse, so luckily he didn't get off, hit the tire barriers, just got off course. Could have been worse, and luckily he's able to continue, and he is in 6th position, 4.8 seconds back, so we'll keep a note on that, see if he's able to gain back any of that time and try and run down the leader. This 32, is that call?
And also report on more drivers having
leader's just done it,
just
146,
laps.
144.
Drivers with required damage flags. Justin Forbes, early trouble for the War Machine that sent him to pit road. Tom Bourne, that's still out on track. He as well has required damage. The 06 expected to hit pit
Smith,
road.
17, is leading the
As
race.
you saw there, blinking up
Turn one.
was
Looks
the
like
going to be seen.
I am so
the
sorry.
driver Gavin Rogers.
Racking up to turn 1 here.
B26.
Oh yeah, I hear it, I hear it.
Douglas Newbegin can't
And
get away
I
from
just got
spinning.
turned.
Also
God
saw
damn it.
Trevor Norris having issues as he was
Bruh.
speeding away.
That's great.
And the 7 once again cannot
Sorry,
get
dude.
away
I just
from
got
spinning
used
out.
up.
You're good, dude.
Well, gets off the course there too. Just
Oh, I'm gonna be mad at you. I saw that shit.
They're able to keep it back on, but yeah, you don't want to keep doing that.
He fucking doored me when he
Oh,
tried
yeah.
to pass me here in this corner too earlier. Oh, stop on the right. Fuck.
Couple week stretch here, having some issues getting off track, and that's a tough spot right there where you're going through the corners. You're going hard right, left, right, and then you got that pit wall right there, and you see right here to 29 on pit road getting that damage fixed.
Trouble for Anthony Gaudio, and it was multiple drivers piling in. Gaudio went wide, and it looked like it was Matthew Rodriguez getting into him as we're going to first see this spin out. There's so much action going on, but here's the replay of what happened to Douglas Newbegin. He was racing with Danny Cochran. Ryan go on.
We're just trying not to crash.
Speed, lost the rear end, and then you also see Christopher Norris in the background, but also right after this, it's going to be the 29 of Anthony Gaudio. He's going to go wide, and then you're also going to see more contact because it's going to be seen the 01 getting into the 24 Volley Fonseca. They get into one another, and then Gaudio just says, you know what, into pit road, required damage. He had to go into pit road.
Looked like the engine there expired. Just saw a little puff of smoke too right before that, so he'll be looking, I guess, to the next race, seeing if he can get that all taken care of for that race number 2.
As more drivers put down fast lap times, and it's going to be Lewis fastest driver. Vincent Sorback takes the place. Gavin Rogers up on board with the 75, still running patriotic colors as the last Daytona race. Patriotic, a lot of these teams decided to stay in Daytona. And
Oh shit! What the hell?
so quick at Long Beach, it was crazy to look at the pace. Gavin Rogers had over the rest of the field. Vincent Sor, another strong road course driver. We thought maybe he was going to be the odds-on favorite. Wasn't the case. And now we're seeing some of the top road course drivers. What cruise pace do they have here tonight? Zach Hall had the good run when the tires were cold. It looks like as the heat picks up, 75 is starting to find his rhythm.
What the fuck is he doing?
Chipping away to this lead.
Yeah, the car looks
What are you
comfortable
doing?
right there going through the corners. It was about 1.8 seconds.
Fucking
Looks like
spin it.
it
What do
down
you
to
think it's doing?
1.5. So slowly wheeling in the 32 machine, but that Vincent Sor was 4.8, and I saw it was down to 4.5. And
anyone
then it
got
went
caught
up
up
a
in my
little
issues,
bit.
I
Maybe
apologize.
pass here.
Damn it.
I'm expecting if he gets
It's
this
a
pass,
monitor issue.
which it looks like he has right there, Sam. I'm thinking that maybe he's going to be able to get another clean lap in here and see if he can slowly chip away more at that lead.
As we're seeing Edward Sherwood.
Okay, now then.
You were like disappearing on my screen the whole time. I don't know what happened.
Having their own battle. This is
So what happened?
eighth
I'm
place
never
currently.
I don't bug people, but
Been a lot of rumbling
Yeah,
on the
I'll
drivers'
take
radio.
I caught up to Danny.
Feel the drivers getting into one another. Matthew Rodriguez,
What'd you say?
Still going on. But Drew
If I
Chua,
catch a moon like
such a strong
happen.
start to the season, missed a
Second
couple
back.
races, really hurt his points situation. I think for the 77, he is in a
Okay, maybe we can get a little bit of a rhythm now.
Truly wants to have that confidence running
Got a little bit of space here.
We've seen very aggressive at times, but you're on road course
track limits in the bus stop are weird.
Still has strength even at these types of courses.
Yeah, they're whack as fuck.
Definitely can't
Is
count
what
on
they
him
are.
now. We know he's a driver that has speed.
Whack.
Seems
Whack.
like each week has speed. I think one of these weeks we're gonna see him
Whack.
battling up front and everything's gonna get put together. Look at this. He moves inside, little lock up, crossover on the 11, right back by him. The 77 worked that hard and still doesn't get the position as he kind of overshot the corner there.
I saw that a lot during practice, and drivers were saying, you know, sometimes those moves in turn 3, it was not an expected turn or pass, you could say, that they were going for. Just they would lock up going into that corner because they're going so fast that sometimes it was either run into the driver ahead of them or try to make a very aggressive dive bomb move. Luckily, both drivers didn't get into one another, and this battle continues on. Other battles, though, that are very close to one another ahead of this group. Battling going on for 3rd place. Larry Yingling, Brian P. Johnson, Vincent Soar. Those 3 drivers have been right
Danny
on
and I
top
were
of one
side
another.
by side
This
the
game was
entire
really close.
infield.
It's hard to see, but 3 drivers, they've been stacked on top of one another.
Wow.
And it has been tough to give a lot of spacing, but one mistake could give Vincent Sora 2 positions, or it can lose it all in one moment.
Still got 15 laps in this
He's
thing.
right there. If any mistake from those 2 drivers, he's going to be around them. I think if he does get around them, he's going to be a clear track in front of him before he can get to 1st and 2nd, but he might have a chance to run them down with 15 laps to go. He definitely seems like he's got some speed, able to get around cars and maneuver around them. But look at this right here. Larry is going to go high, maybe get that position of Brian P. Johnson. Doesn't want to battle him going into this turn 1 under heavy braking.
Trying to find the spacing and give it a run, but oh, Soar wasn't expecting the spacing. He almost ran into Yingling, able to hold on. That could have been a scare, but somehow the champs, they scave away. And I think a little bit of miscommunication between Yingling and Sora. Yingling was trying to slow up a little bit early to give space to 51. He was not anticipating that move. And now Vincent Sora trying to get by his team and Brian P. Johnson. Not able to find spacing, but whew, there was a moment there, Justin, of almost complete disaster between a top runner.
I think you called it correct there, Sam. I am pretty certain Larry Yingling, being the champion type of driver that he is, was realizing that these 2 drivers were a little bit faster. He didn't want to cook the corner, so he kind of gave him the outside. We gave him the inside, went high, and Vincent Soren probably was not expecting that. But
these 2 guys are going to be racing a little bit up here. We want to catch them.
I'm sorry there, Larry. I didn't expect you to break when you did, and I just didn't get out of your track.
These drivers all still have a chance to battle for this win.
And can you give an
Turn,
update
turn, turn,
on
turn,
some
turn,
drivers? And we saw a
Woo!
spin, and Christopher
Yeah, I
Morris
wasn't
was
able to
out
say it, but that
into
was
the
a hell of a
wall.
battle.
That was blinking. The 38 machine.
Oh, now we got that thing to slow down. Holy shit.
Section 1 lap down, but I know a lot of people are worried about the weather conditions currently. Just want to give a warning. If our broadcast goes down at any moment, our producer Robert Moyer Jr. is dealing with some weather conditions. We hope the weather, and we cross our fingers, hope that it all holds strong throughout tonight. But if we do ever disconnect, it is because of the weather, not because we just said, you know what, we're done watching these guys race, because they're giving us quite a show here tonight. As we've seen the 13 of Cedric Hunter trying his own way to try to move forward, currently in 15th position. Also other drivers that are on recovery runs. Ollie Fonseca trying to close in the gap between himself, Christopher Wade, and Bronson Stafford. Stafford went for a crazy ride just a lap ago off the exit of turn 1 through the S's, and a driver that had a lock on the brakes almost got disqualified with how far he slid through the grass.
Don't want to ever slide through that grass, but all the alternatives don't want that damage. Do not want any of that damage to Ollie Fonseca. You saw it before. He was one of the drivers that kind of got into Anthony Gaudio a little bit there when he was spun out. Luckily, he's still able to continue. Unfortunately, Anthony Gaudio not able to continue. Andrew Medlin, though, right here going into turn 1, going to try and get under the 72. You see the little bit of wiggle there as they're braking heavy, getting into these corners. Just not able to complete the pass, though.
Andrew Medlin, have our Medlin cam on. This is the battle for 25th position with 72 of Matt Muir ahead, and you can see the focus on Andrew Medlin every lap. So crucial. You have to hit your marks, and these vehicles, they run like bricks. And I know for most of the field, last time they raced on this track, I would say for most, it was back in January, February, we practiced for the Rolex 24 hours. For some, much drivable vehicles. Justin, I mean, when you're driving this next gen, compared to those street, those sports vehicles that are meant for road course racing, there's a complete difference that you're working with.
Yeah, these cars have absolutely no grip compared to those sports cars. Driving the Rolex 24 hours is challenging in itself, but being in this car, oh, this car is just there's no grip, Sam. Can't get the power down. Cars don't stop like they want to.
Damn, man.
Sports cars, they just seem like they take forever to stop. And I know these next-gen cars are a little bit better on road courses than the old cars. Those old cars never would stop. I mean, you can see, we were 2-3 laps into this race, and you can see the brakes blowing. So that just tells you how hard it is that they're just out there getting on the brakes. You can see right here, 72 getting off course. Is Andrew Bentley going to be able to
these guys are side by side now.
Outside, passing going into turns 3 and 4 on the Daytona Oval.
Oval 3 and 4 is where you're going to be hitting your fast
turn 1. We think it might be
good exit out of the bus stop, and with Matt Muir having his troubles from 72, gives an opportunity for Medlin to work the outside through. Should complete the pass before they go into the corner, but they'll stay side by side. Again, this battling for 25th position there on the inside groove. Gets up the brakes. You saw that wiggle. That's what everyone's trying to figure out how to kind of conceal, is when you get on the brakes through the oval, it is very difficult to keep it underneath yourself. With that pass made, Kodamoni starting to show some strength, and other drivers on recovery runs, we move up to and just outside of our top 10. Nick Crawford, major slide, just got by this 8th of Ryan McCann, and trying his best to move on forward.
Yeah, Nick Crawford, we saw it live about 5 laps ago, gave up a ton of track position with that getting off course, the slide through the infield there. But I tell you what, the 8 machine, he looks good. But the 51, he's definitely looking good. He's got it down to 4.2 seconds, but he's been passing cars. That's been the trick. Not losing time while he's passing cars. Now he's got a chance to get up there and maybe battle these top 2 before we get to the last lap here. It's going to be really interesting if he's able to do it with here 12 laps to go. Got to do it. If not, he's going to be starting way in the back trying to get that win for the second part of this doubleheader tonight.
Justin, I know that you do a lot more driving. I race a lot more than I do. What's it like being a driver? You look at the times, you're trying to be consistent at a road course, and you have drivers that are just paid so close to you that you're always equal distance. It feels like even if you make a mistake, that driver.
Ooh, we got the draft.
What's it like to be a driver in these high-pressure situations where you're trying to run down the field ahead of you?
Well, you're constantly looking in your mirror when you have people behind you, and you're like, am I pulling away from them? And then you think you are, and then you see them in the mirror still, and then before you know it, you kind of get off course because you start looking up, checking the mirror, you miss your braking points, and then you're locking the tires up like we saw drivers doing tonight. So it's a constant challenge because you want to make sure you're not getting run over, even when you're braking a little bit earlier if you're trying to conserve the car. And then on the flip side, if you get into the corner a little harder, you might slide off track. So it's like that.
Locking them up. Come on, dude.
Each lap. Just trying not to make any mistakes. You got drivers all behind you. You just see the little bit of wiggle right there, even on the 51 machine. We've been talking about how he's been running down these drivers. But even so, just trying to get the power down in that first gear. That's the big problem, Sam. Getting down in the first gear is challenging. Car doesn't want to get down there. And then when you do, it's hard to get that power planted.
Well, I just fucking fucked my race. I'm starting on the pole.
Brent. Troubles has been the trickiest spot for the 24. Again, ran into
what happened?
Rodriguez.
I just totally fucked turn 1 up.
Then having this
I didn't wreck,
but
I'm dead last now.
Fonseca. Now he was driving instead of a top 30 as he was recovering, just went way too fast. And
really need to get around the 72 car, I think.
I almost ended up in turn 6.
Might fade away, but comes back to the field so aggressively, gets into Christopher Wade. What a bizarre moment there, and that was shades of what race number 1 of Ollie Fonseca was doing.
You would have killed me if you had.
53, probably.
Because right about when you said that was when I was going through.
Just kind of re-entering in track there when he should not probably have been re-entering at that exact moment, but that's the 24 machine right there back on track. As you see right here, these drivers going through. Too wide right there, tight spot. Are they able to keep it on track? They are, but so tight. John Forbes able to get away. Right here, 07 machine getting into the corner, trying to get a position right there. Sam, I tell you what, these drivers though, up front leaders, they're going to be in traffic. I think some of these cars at the back are definitely getting caught pretty fast.
You're right,
they're too clear.
Yeah, looking at the field, there is still a little bit of spacing to work with for Zach Hall as we continue to watch the battle for 10th place. Crawford on his recovery run.
On your left.
Instead of the top, a 10.
Hold your
before
line.
You had a major
okay.
slide that cost
Clear
over
left.
12 position. He continues to make the march forward. He was actually inside of our top 5 when he had that spin. now able to get by Brian Noel, but for Zach Hall, first driver he would catch up to would be the 98 of Ben Keeney, and there's about a straightaway difference between the 32 and a first lap car. It's going to be tough, but we're halfway through this race. I think when we're with 3 laps left in this race, there'll be a lot more lap traffic to deal with, but trouble for Zach Hall through the bus stop. Wasn't able to get cleanly through, and it's going to be Gavin Rogers getting the run for himself, and it's going to be looking like a yield penalty for Hall.
God damn it, dude.
It's going to be Gavin Rogers, cleaner bus stop, give him the point, and he's taking the lead. Rogers leads this lap, and what a run. Simple mistake can be costly. Rogers leads that lap. Hall fights down into turn number 1.
Oh, Hall takes it back. Heavy braking. Is he going to be able to complete it and stay in front? He is. The 75 right there behind him. Gavin Rogers going to try and get through this corner. And this is going to be the point right here. Heavy braking. Who's going to outbrake who?
Usually when we've been looking at drivers, they successfully defend in turn 1. It's the third turn. They make mistakes. Zach Hall holds on and can report. Numbers clicked in. It was 1 with thousandths of a second difference. Zach Hall led that lap. Gavin Rogers still does not have that bonus point yet for leading a lap. Hall holds on.
There. Oh, but he might the next lap. 32 can't make any more mistakes like that. Now to 75, way too close. Zach Hall makes one mistake here. To 75 will get around him. We're going to be coming back through that bus stop. He's going to be in the 32's mind right now, though. Okay? He can't be overthinking that. He's got to be able to get back in there, make sure he's able to hit his marks, and try and get a little bit gap here, right here, to have some breathing room. But I expect that 75 to utilize this draft coming down the back straightaway and try and suck up as much as he can before that bus stop.
You're good. Now they're going to be aiming towards the bus stop again. Big gains, huge losses if you make a mistake or if you hit it perfectly. And now with that simple mistake, it's now brought Vincent Sora within 2 seconds, and any more little fall-offs, you can enable the 51 to close in the gap. It really, it's the exit of the corner, going over that rumble strip. Zach Hall flirting with disaster over that run, but he needs to keep his foot in the throttle. They'll stay 2 tenths ahead. Gavin Rogers will have the draft heading down into turn number 1 here. And
no, I'd back up if I were you.
Speed happening, but even with this late little battle,
goodness.
it isn't.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to transfer until I realized it'd be side by side.
From the lead, as Hall leads another lap for Rogers, setting up for an outside pass.
The 51, Vincent Sora, he's probably loving watching these 2 guys race up here. It just gives him a chance to get closer and closer. Same thing with Brian P. Johnson and Aaron Smith, though. The second, don't count out the top 5. They all have it under almost 3 seconds here. So these final 8 laps are going to be really challenging. Zach Hall can't make any mistakes, but he's got all the pressure behind him. 75 staying right there with him. I mean, any mix-up, he's going to be right there pressing him for this lead.
And again, lap traffic will become a key if they start to fall off. It looks like lap traffic might just be 2 drivers by the end of this race, but Gavin Rogers, Zach Hall giving us a show, hopping on board with the 32, but it's behind him where all the action really is. Rogers pounding that back bumper, able to survive off that exit. But Rogers is trying to figure out the exit point of where he can get into the throttle sooner, get the better launch off the exit of the corner. It looks like Hall, he'll stay low. Rogers trying to get a little bit of help from gravity, going high in the corner. But they'll get the draft. Hall with the better run, though.
And if you're a viewer, all you have to do is just look up at the top right of that screen, look at that mirror. That's what these drivers are probably glancing up, checking every once in a while, seeing if they have the gap, seeing if they got to defend a dive bomb. It stresses you out. Look at how close he gets to him right underneath there. And if you take your mental break and just miss your entrance by a second, you could slide off course. You see the 32 again, he gets down there on those rumble strips, flirting with that disaster, getting that penalty. But wow, I mean, what's great racing to watch if you're into road courses.
If you go a little bit too far to the left off the exit of the bus stop, you cut over that orange little turtle, you will find yourself getting that yield penalty based on how much.
Damn, dude. I figure more people would mess up, to be honest with you.
Critical to ruining your race. If you find that mistake, it's already hurt.
That's alright, though.
To a point where he's being put pressure by Gavin Rogers, but Rogers is right there. And every lap that ticks away, Vincent Sora takes a 10th, takes 2. That last lap, it was 4 tenths closer. As another lockup from Zach Hall, he's just continuing to try to minimize the mistakes, but the mistakes are happening.
The puff of smoke, not what he wants to continue to see, but outside that front mirror, there's a lap car right there. You see it on the bottom right of the screen. Going to be seeing it again right here. They're going to be hitting him. The key is passing it and making sure that it does not cost you any time. And same thing with Gavin Rogers. You want to make sure he doesn't hit the lap car going into a braking point.
Oh, no.
The 32 right here. He's going to have to go a little bit lower. Is that going to hurt the exit?
It looks like.
And it looks like for Zach, he had to duck low, take a shallow.
I just keep
approach,
hearing
but
Cochran's
also
name.
Rogers, he didn't know where that lap car was going to be, and was over the radio, was Ben trying to give navigations on where he was going to place himself. He got on the brake maybe a little bit too soon than Zach was expecting. Forced the 32 to try a different approach into the corner, and honestly, I think it might have helped. Hall able to get the launch, keeps that distance, going into the bus stop, not close enough this go around, and surprisingly, Vincent Sora had a bad exit off the going back onto the oval circuit.
I totally
so Hall,
reacted.
as well as Rogers, they pull away just slightly as they go on the fast stretch.
Well, they do. They pull away from third place, but fourth and fifth, they're gaining a little bit on the 51 third place machine. We're going to have two battles here.
Oh, that's
for
a
top
relief.
5 positions. It's going to be great
Got
fun.
enough field
6
mix to
laps
the
coming
end,
up
baby.
here. 6 laps is going to be about 12 minutes of racing left, if that. These drivers are going to have to make their moves, so as we're seeing, it's hard to pass. 75 was able to get there, just not able to get around yet.
And it looks to be Zach Hall can hit his marks. This is going to be solid.
Yeah, I thought it's fitting as well.
But if Gavin Rogers is close enough, he's gonna have to send it for a miracle.
Yeah, but that would have been a race ending blow right there because they're going to win this person on the outside wall.
Laps to go. And remember, if you win this race, this could lock you in, and Zach Hall will have that extreme pressure and also trying to gain points. He enters tonight third.
Bronson, no!
But he wants to get every point possible. This is only our first
Man,
race
I don't know,
tonight.
Ron.
We have a
I
doubleheader
walk up
here
no matter
this
how much
evening.
brake pressure I put or
As
how
after
long it's
tonight's
bad.
race, the final results, we will invert the field. If you finish first, you go to last. You finish last, you go to first.
Consistency.
And we're going to be seeing how this
Thank you.
field can really finish out.
You're
in that
welcome.
second race. But Zach Hall, not a clean launch. He had a little bit of a shimmy there for the
I know I'm
32.
terrible at road
But
courses,
Gavin
so.
Rogers had to back off. He was too close to try to take advantage there.
I mean, these drivers are just putting on a great show. This is some great, excellent road course racing. Like you said, he was so close to him, he had to back off for fear of running into each other, and that could have been both very nice. And as you say that, you see getting into the image on the screen, the third place machine, fourth and fifth, they're just right there waiting. These drivers get to side by side for about a half a lap. Those drivers will be right there. We're gonna have 5 of them under a blanket, which is great for a finish here at a road course.
Other great battles happening on track. That one going on for 9th place. Crawford is still ahead of Brian Noel. Also Ryan Kelly, John Forbes are keeping themselves very close to one another. And also back up the field.
I've about had enough of road courses in these damn cars for a while, I'm not gonna lie.
A few others, but up front is the battle for the lead. Zach Hall stays low. Rogers has to try to go wide, trying to find a way to make a crossover move. There was no spacing there. Hall
That
defense
sucks.
continues. And for Gavin Rogers, it just seems like he's getting closer and closer on how he wants to approach this battle, but every single move he tries to attempt, Hall is right there where the crossover wants to be made.
Well, there's a freebie.
It's just one of those things where he's right there, just not able to do the move. But I mean, how patient will Gavin Rogers get as these laps wind down? Right now, he's
gain it back.
left in the bank. He has turns left in the bank to try and do this.
Damn,
If
dude,
he
that
gets down
sucks.
to 2 laps to go, 1 to go, is he going to maybe force the issue? It's going to be really interesting to see as we're on board right here. Just watching the different angles they're getting through these corners and different styles of driving. See right here, Rogers kind of gets a little bit more in the rumble strips, but it makes him come out further to the right. And Zach Hall took a different angle, comes out a little bit lower. And now 75 going to try and get as much draft as he can on the 32 to gain back as much time as possible.
More Gavin Rogers starts to flirt going backwards. He pulls the clutches of Vincent Sora, Johnson, and Smith. It gives time for Sora to get a little bit of that draft help in on the straightaways. That could be passive. That's through the bus stop. You're seeing Zach Hall very much shallow. He took a patient approach. Rogers keeps his foot in the throttle, and the 75 is right back there to the back bumper. What a charge through the bus stop.
Damn it,
by
dude.
Rogers.
You saw it live there to 32. You just started seeing it get a little light there in the rear. You can see it
Oh
starting
my
to dance
God.
around, and I think he was getting really loose there and had to get off the brake.
Yeah, I'm
there,
about
risk
done with these fucking road
locking up those
courses.
rear tires and spinning out. He did a great job keeping the car safe, but it gives it every chance for the 75 right now to build up momentum. He's going to swing high. Is he going to cut low going into turn 1?
Trying to figure out where to get underneath this 32 might be the key, but he's going to try the outside, not looking. Now we'll go for the crossover move, and Zach Hall's back bumper is covering everything. If you're going to make the pass, you're going to have to go extremely wide. Other drivers struggling to listen to the looks like we have another self-spin for himself, but we keep our sights on this lead battle because Rogers keeps putting the pressure in every single lap. Vincent Sora as well as Johnson and Smith the second try to close in the gap, but with 4 laps to go, they're running out of time. They have to close in on the gap, but that's asking for a mistake by our top 2 that just continue to race perfectly back and forth between one another.
4 laps to go.
So
The top
annoying,
5
dude.
separated by 2.3 seconds. A blanket technically could be thrown right over them. The brakes are blowing. They're driving as hard as they can. They got 1 lap car coming up. They're probably going to get to them. Probably here in the next 30 to 45 seconds. They're going to have to navigate through that. That could be a chance for one of these drivers to make a position and pass someone. They're all right there, Sam, now. This is any of the top 5's race. One of them's going to get it.
Top 5 all within 2.5 seconds between one another. It's starting to look a little bit this between each driver in the space. They once were right on top of each other, but it's been the bus stop where Gavin Rogers looked the strongest on the entry and through the center, but it's the exit where Zach Hall can still defend within speed. And with the lap car, Valde Fonseca going to be in front of them. We'll see how the 24 wants to react once this lead pack catches up to the 24. But heading into 3 laps to go.
No, I didn't mean to let you by 38.
Is just a little bit under a half a second. The difference between first and third, a little bit less than a second and a half. Vincent Sora, if he's going to make this recovery run work, he's got a lot of work and a lot of moves he needs to make. Other drivers of note that I want to give kudos to: Trent Jump, trying to start all the way back in 37th position. He's our biggest mover, up 20 spots. He's now up to 17th position. But for the lead, Rogers tries to close in. Once again, here in turn 3, right on the back bumper, but it's off the exit. Zach Hall's been stronger, but goes with a little bit of a wider approach. Rogers is there as they head to the dogleg.
Heads to the dogleg, not able to make a move right there yet. This is a high-speed corner right there, though. All those drivers got to be really careful. You see Vincent Sora kind of get way up there on those yellow curbing, able to keep it from getting into the infield. But look at this, 75. They're right there. They're going to catch this lap car probably on the exit of this next corner, getting up onto the high banks, which should make it easier for them to all potentially get around without a heavy braking issue. But wow, these drivers, they're all right there now. You're talking 2 seconds between them. Zach Hall's going to try and use some of that draft from the 24 just to get a little bit extra speed.
Uses the draft, pulls away. It's a half a second difference. And now for if you're Zach Hall, you hope Valde Fonseca might play a little bit of defense, maybe a little bit of a helper, stay in between, maybe slow down that 75, and that's exactly what happens. Gets on the brake, Gavin Rogers has to back off, Vincent Sora has to back off, and Zach Hall pulling away. The perfect defensive push. He had the lap car help, and now Sora putting the pressure for second place. And for Zach Hall, perfectly gets the help to try to pull away from the rest of the field because of the lap car.
Utilizing the strategy of the lap car perfectly, and even with that said, Valde Fonseca is still right there behind him in 75. Actually not able to get around him yet, and it's got him now fighting Vincent Sora. I mean, these 2 drivers are battling. This is what Zach Hall wants to see. He's able to get himself over an 1/8 of a second lead now with just 2 laps to go.
Damn, I just watched Aaron Smith choke a 5th place finish.
Get around him.
Every little move
really?
here on how you want to put the pressure.
He was
the driver ahead.
already through turn 1, but he hit the curb through the little
trouble for himself.
The
rest for the
right
second place
after turn
position.
1.
Give it to Vincent Sora. It's the 70 machine. Has to be careful. Hoping not to get disqualified as he's back out on track. Gives all those positions back. Sora's up to second, and now a lap and a half to go. Zach Hall sees the pressure behind. It's the 51 putting the charge. He's been waiting in third this whole entire race. He's now on the back bumper. It's time to go. And it's all down to this Justin. One mistake for Aaron Smith the second. Luckily, he's still in the race.
Aaron Smith is winning the next race.
And it looks like a black flag has to be given to the 70 machine. He'll have to go to pit room.
What was the black
Massive
flag?
loss for position and a point for himself. I know he's trying to
spun out in the horseshoe and came back on the track, back behind the both those behind. I probably should have rejoined where I was, but I was already across the center by the time I got done spinning.
To the bus stop. This is where Sora can gain all the position and maybe have a chance for a last dash pass.
You're on board, you hear it live. The downshifts from 5th down to potentially 1st gear. Look at that, floats it off in there. Gets back on it hard, gets over the rumble strips. You hear the car wiggle a little bit.
For cutting the course.
Getting back up through the gears. Under half a second, he's going to try and utilize that draft. He's going to have about 4 to 5 heavy braking points left on his last lap to try and get around this 32 of Zach Hall. Is he going to be able to do it? The first one's going to be coming up here shortly, right after we start finish line.
No.
Zach Hall hoping that he's going to stay with any mistakes. Hopes that they'll be behind him, and he's already made them all. Down into turn number 1. Vincent Sora going to be going with the higher approach. Now going to crank it down into the apex of the corner. Hall with a little bit of a wiggle, but Sora can't get into the throttle just as quickly. Hall pulls away. Gavin Rogers on the back bumper. Our top 4 all within practically a second of one another. One mistake could take this win to Brian P. Johnson if your top 3 get into one another. You can see every driver wiggling, trying to put their foot in the throttle and get moving as quickly as possible. Into the cake. Have to let off just slightly. It's all Zach Hall up into the gears, down into first. They try to keep it all together, but you can see Rogers, he's
so when we go in
use the most pressure on the entry of the corner, but off the exit, still Hall down into the final corner of the infield before they go back onto the oval stretch. Zach Hall, Vincent Sora within 2/10. It's been all race working to this.
All right, coming to get the white flag here for the first race.
Zach behind me the whole time. He was maybe a second quicker than me.
You're realizing the draft, there's going to be another heavy braking point to get down in the bus stop. If the 51's going to do it, he's going to have to do it in this corner. Zach Hall's going to defend low. 51's going to go high, now go to the middle of the track right here. Heavy braking. Is he going to be able to get it done? Looks like Zach Hall is going to defend good, but is the 51 going to get it around the corner?
That could be more aggressive in this
Small
turn.
little tap. Hall has to go a little bit wide. They're going to be right on top of one another. Gavin Rogers is hoping that he's going to have the draft help. But Hall, Sora, will the draft enable the 51 to take the win? Or can Hall hold steady? They're all in line.
Oh my God,
trying to get the draft help. It's all about getting across the line first. Hall down on the apron. They're going to be side by side coming to the line. But it's going to be Zach Hall taking the win here at the Meal on Wheels Daytona Squirrel for ourselves, and we Squiggle, and it's all Hall grabbing the win for himself. And I gotta say, Justin, that was hard work from the start to the end of those 20 laps.
Oh, Zach Hall, he has to have the ice in his veins all night, driving defensive those final 5, 6, 7 laps. I mean, they were there on him, but they couldn't shake him. Much deserved win for the 32. Can't wait to talk to him. Let's hear how he felt driving this car tonight, battling like he did in defending. As you see some.
Well, the 98 racing me to the fucking bus stop, yeah.
Machine of Brian P. Johnson.
Yes, those are Alliance drivers outside of this, teammates.
Hey, that was some good racing down.
All right, well that'll conclude the first race.
So the drivers still racing between one another on who's going to get some.
We'll invert the field for the second race.
I'm so sorry, Brunson.
He will take the win. This is only our first race. That was your main event. 20 laps.
Doing what's good, not run me over there, bud.
This win counts, unlocking Zach Hall.
Good job, Zach. I want to see what I could have done differently.
Normal points as well as bonus points.
There we go.
But we have one more race to go. It's our 10-lap sprint. And where these drivers finish out here tonight, let's invert it. Zach Hall, you won your first race, but now you got to start in
All right, well 26 in the first race, so.
It is going to be a war
dude. I thought that was going to be a fun race at the end.
We didn't get to see a lot of lap traffic passing, but we're going to see plenty of it in race number 2.
Well, race number 2, if I had to describe it, I'm going to go with Hornet's Nest. It's going to be crazy. 32 Machine, your winner, starting dead last. I mean, can he get through 10 cars in the first lap? You got to make up those positions. He can't be 15, 20 seconds behind him in the first lap just by starting back there with 40 cars. I mean, he's going to have to be flying through this field. The biggest thing is he's going to have all fast guys around him, too. It's not like he's just going to have slower cars in front of him. He's going to have the second place car, third place, fourth place cars all right in front of him. It's going to be a dramatic restart. Can't wait to watch it live.
Cannot wait for it. We have 10 minutes of warm-up time. It's going to give us time to talk to Zach Hall, maybe Vincent Sora. I don't know if we have the results from that heat race, but it was an incredible run for Zach Hall. We'll see the inverse. But first of all, we're going to go down to victory lane and talk with Zach Hall to get his thoughts on that incredible run here tonight. It looks like
we'll see how this second race goes first. We'll be starting right in the middle of the field, so.
We have the 32 with us, Zach Hall. Zach, I mean, it looked like it was hard work from the drop of the green to the last lap. How are you feeling after race number 1?
Oh I don't even think I can breathe, guys. Yeah, just happy to win finally.
Well, Turn 1's going to be a disaster, isn't
hard
it?
on myself with a, it's funny. I
Yeah,
told my teammate,
26. I'm starting worse than when I started in the race.
I literally
starting 16th.
lap into the bus stop, locked up, and went into the corner too deep. And
I should be able to
got
gain
to
a
slow
few
down and
spots back.
had to fight hard there. Gavin was
Great,
super quick,
I can't,
and I was
take
even
the
slowing
feature
both of us
I
up,
work
just
early
trying
tomorrow,
to be
but
defensive and get the
I'll
drives
see
off the corner, man. And then Vince was there on the last lap, and I was just like, I had to go deep into the bus stop, but I wanted to back the center up so he couldn't get that lunge out of there and draft past me. But I don't think I literally even during my qualifying laps, everything, my feet have been shaking the whole time just because, you know, when you're that close to a win in this league, it's that special.
Zach, congratulations. Just so you know, I had you picked. We didn't get a chance to talk about it because you guys were putting on such a great race up there.
I feel like I'm in the worst
You were my driver tonight, so thanks for going out there leading all those laps. Just tell us, viewers, how often do you check your mirrors? Are you just not looking at the mirrors? Or are you protecting those dive bombs, making sure no one gets underneath you?
I probably look in the mirror too much, and especially the relative that we have on the screen. You know, I was watching it almost every exit. I noticed I was just being really smooth when I had the gap. There's really no pressure and getting really good exits, and I would pull them in the, you know, in certain corners where you don't, you know, it's the risk corners. You know, really turn one, you can risk it, man. You can send it in there, gain a bunch of time, or you can really, back it up and try to get the exit out. And that's really what I was trying to do to make sure I made no mistakes. Same for the bus stop. I noticed that's where he was gaining on me because I was just backing it up, and yeah, I made a mistake. And then I had to kind of watch the mirror from there. But just great racing from them guys. I mean, literally all 5 of them right behind me. I mean, those are
Mario Kart.
Some of the toughest guys to keep, you know, right behind you, man. And again, I'm still shaking from it, but we've got to get ready for this invert because now we're gonna start, I think, 41st. So I don't know what we'll do from there, but hey, we're in the playoffs and we got us a big win, so I'm happy about it.
We're trying to Zach Hall, our winner here from our first race. Zach, final call, final question for you. What is it going to be like trying to work through this field? Because you really didn't get a lot of traffic practice so far here tonight.
It's going to be difficult. I have a pretty good seat on the field, so I get to watch these guys kind of go through. I'm going to try to let them make mistakes. I think that's going to be the big thing, is not get too impatient. You got to make the moves when you can. But if you try to make a too big a move, it's so easy to lock up and you'll go off and you'll lose all the time you're trying to gain. So it's going to be interesting. Definitely, if we can get in the top 20, top 15, I think I'll be happy with that. But if we can get in the top 10, I think it'll be a win.
Well, Zach, congratulations on the win. Good luck in this invert sprint race, and hopefully we'll be talking to you after this.
Thanks, guys.
As that is your winner for the first race and main race of the night. We go down to second place, a driver that really had to work his way to even have a chance. We have second place finisher of Vincent Sora after our main race of the evening. Vinny, congratulations on second. Almost had a chance there for the win. Man, how are you feeling after that first race?
I'm a little bit mad at myself, but that was just a lot of fun. To have a battle like that coming to the end on a road course is super rare on iRacing, and I think that's what this format benefited. So this is a lot of fun. I'm mad at myself because of the dumb mistakes that I made to cost myself the time there, because I mean, I fell back 4 seconds and gained it all back. So I probably would have had an even better chance at winning, but you know, I can't be too mad about a P2 and an awesome battle with Zach. He was driving his tail off to defend Gavin and then me, and I don't think there was much more I could have done. I got just about as much out of the bus stop that I could have there on the last lap, and it still wasn't enough. So shout out to Zach. He drove just an awesome race, and I'm honestly honored to be able to hold that battle with him, and hopefully that one is going to get replayed for a long time.
Definitely a fun battle. What are you guys thinking you're going to be doing in this next race here, starting in the back? I mean, is it going to be whoever gets in front of who and gets around that traffic? And you think you're going to be able to drive up there? I mean, it's only 10 laps, so it's going to be really hard. But that first lap, I'm thinking you guys need to at least get by a good amount of the field if you're going to have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically there's no hope for us back here to get a win out of this. A top 10 is, I think, definitely doable, just with guys making mistakes up at the front and us driving our tails off to try to get there. But I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You're going to want to be really smart, but at the same time, you have to make some bold moves to get spots here, because there's only about 3 passing zones that really stand out to me in this car here. And if you don't get them, then you got to wait and wait and wait for your next opportunity. So, yeah, it's going to take a lot of smart thinking, but Maybe
I
some
forgot
luck
who
as well, I'm
asked the
sure,
question earlier.
and some guys around us making some mistakes.
Well, Vinny, we're so excited to see how this.
Whoever asked the question earlier about pit stalls being inverted, they are inverted.
Before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
Yeah, first off to Zach and all the admin team who thought up this this format. This is a lot of fun, and I think it's something we should definitely revisit in the future. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting. Shout out to everybody who makes this league possible and everybody home watching.
Well, that will be Vincent Sora, going to be your second place finisher from the main race of the night. But don't worry, we got one more here this evening. Good luck, Vinny. We hope for the best finish for yourself.
Thank you, guys.
Now, like we said, this is going to be our second race of the night, and it will be fully under the lights. First race, it was the main race, 20 laps, and it was all about if you won, that counted as a win to lock you into the playoffs. Well, this second race, it is a sprint race, and the way that it will go down, starting order is inverted from where you finished at the end of the first race. So if you won, you go to the tail end of the line. Good luck trying to march your way through that field, and if you were last, you get to start up front and have that advantage for yourself. It's going to be 10 laps. No stage points will be given out. In the point system for this sprint race, it is 1 point per position. So if we have all 40 drivers racing here tonight, winner gets 40 bonus points. And Justin, that could be massive on the magnitude of bonus points that you could grab in this sprint race. It could change everything here this evening.
Every point matters. We talk about it every week, and we'll talk about it when it comes playoff cut time. There's going to be a driver out there who's going to miss it by 1-2 points. And you can look back at tonight. You can look back at the race, the 20-lap race, the 10-lap shootout tonight. Going back to Daytona, just running in the top 5 at the end. And did you have a problem in the final few laps and end up in the 20, 30 positions? You think back to Aaron Smith, who had the issue getting off track, running in the top 5 right at the end. 2 laps to go, just gets off course. Every point matters. It really does. It shows it, especially when you have drivers of this quality on this type of track, where it's so hard to pass to begin with, and you put drivers out there. We have guys each week, 15, 20 different drivers that we think can win races. Very talented league, hard to make up points, so you don't want to give them away.
You certainly do not. And as well, there are no bonus points. So if you lead a lap, that will not count as a bonus point in this second race. This is just a strictly position point race for this shootout. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Also, if you win, it does not lock you into the playoffs with this second race. All drivers getting set and ready for tonight's event. It's going to be a good one, and if they show up here tonight, your top driver could be Justin Forbes, Anthony Gaudio. That could become our front row for this race here tonight. Also Matthew Rodriguez, but I think the drivers to watch out for Christopher Norris, Shane Terrian, and Tom Bourne. Those drivers were caught up with early troubles. They ended that first race at the end. Get those bonus points that they can recover from if they can figure out those moments and times. And I think, Justin, those could be the drivers that could win this sprint race, like we heard from Vincent Sora. It is going to be tough to get through this field.
It'll be very important to get around the cars in front of you fast and be able to try and gap this field, because definitely clean track, clean position. You're able to run the lap times. We saw these guys catch up to Zach Hall, but they weren't able to pass him. He was able to have the same speed to them once he got to it. Just like the drivers mentioned, maybe only 2, 3, or 4 braking points. So the rest of it, you're kind of just there following, and the draft, while it's important, just doesn't seem like it was given enough boost to these drivers to be able to pull out and make passes. So getting to your braking points, getting around the important passing zones is going to be really important. But this race, only being 10 laps, you got to hit those first few laps and gain as many positions as possible.
You see that checkered flag? The warm-up is concluding. Our second race of our doubleheader
all these fast guys
is
starting in the
about
back.
to begin.
I'm sure we'll see Vincent in like 2
Special
laps.
Shout out to Meals on Wheels. Motorsport.
Oh boy, let's see how this goes. Sure, I'll see Vincent in like 2 laps or something.
Yeah.
July 9th. We've had the link down in our description videos during our Daytona.
Alright, here's the inverted race here, starting 16, 10 laps.
Fast cars starting like right behind me. Like Thompson track, if like 2 cars back.
Across the country,
Bruh.
as they are focusing on
It's full points for this race, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
If you win, you don't, it doesn't count, but it's still full points.
And
Yeah.
advocacy support.
I think it doesn't
on
count for
wheels.
playoffs.
Empower your local members programs to strengthen their communities, one senior at a time. Contribute today. Help at delivering
interesting.
meals
Quick
for those
question,
in
will the
need.
fireworks
Thank you so
go
much
off
to
after
Meals
this
on
race?
Wheels. I mean, for Meals on Wheels.
Depends who
Yes,
gets
thank
ready.
you for that. As we go take a look at our starting grid,
Are you asking
there's
about
been
the
a
light
lot of
set
drivers
or
that have been
the pirate
leaving the
tactic?
session.
They don't need
They've remembered
the
there's a
racetrack
second
already
race
lit,
here tonight, but we'll see who's going to be the true lead driver. As
Perfect.
Our
We need to
front
see him there
row
anyways.
Trying to get
drivers,
pictures.
I'll try to do a rundown for us as we do
You
not
should be
have
able
the
to
grid
run
for
through
it.
there off a blind
But it's going to
face.
be Mike Tellier, expected to be the lead driver, but he did not race the first race, so he most likely won't run this one. Expected to see Justin Forbes.
Wowzers.
Row number 2, we find Anthony Gatio and Matthew Rodriguez. There's your second
And
row.
one of
Back to
them
row
Scooby
number
snacks.
3, we find Shane Terrian and Tom Bourne from Sky Motorsports. Back in row number 4 in 7th and 8th place. Ben Kinney has already left.
Those civilians were
So Justin Forbes leading him to the green.
For Norris, we'll find Ollie
Forbes was
boy.
next to the green.
Wade, but he's as well has
Good God.
left. Behind them, we'll find the 68 of Jared Hughes
helps us all.
and the
Gaudio
56
is on
of
the
Richard
inside
Wilson
as
in 11th
well.
and 12th place. Behind them, going to be Bronson
So
Stafford.
Gaudio
Tyler
should
Dengler has
also be
left the session, but he
moving
might
up to
be
the
starting
front,
on
so
pit
the
road.
inside row
He's under the
should
pass.
jump up
Behind
one.
61 will be
Fuck.
his teammate Matt Meir in 15th.
This is gonna be
Dakota
interesting.
Moniz in
This is gonna be more
16th.
interesting than the
And in
last one.
17th, it's
that we
the
just
12
ran.
Medlin and
We got all the fast guys
15
starting in the
of
back
Carl
now, so you know they're gonna be full set.
What it means. Will be the 7 of Douglas Newbegin, and in
It's
20th,
dark out
it's
here.
the 25 of Cody Reed. Down in 21st position, we find Danny Cochran in the 2, and Aaron Smith the 2nd in 22nd position. That could be another driver to watch out for is the 7 machine. Behind them will be Chris Stitz. Also going to be Joshua Kanata, then GT Rosari, Ryan
Somehow
Ferraro,
Norris is starting in
Trent
front of
Jett will
me,
be down
so
in
I don't know what happened to
27
him.
with Cedric
But,
Hunter, Ryan
just gonna
Cam,
follow him.
Just want to let you guys know that the
gonna be,
pit
Thompson
road
Jack,
does
More
as
about
well
what he's
as
doing.
John
set to
Forbes.
where you start for this
Then
race.
Who else
find
starting?
Ryan Kelly, Brian Noel,
16th.
Larry Yingling,
Okay, you're
Ross,
next forward.
Edward Sherwood Jr., Drew Jua,
I see you, Ollie.
Are you okay?
Johnson, Gavin Rogers, Vincent
Hey.
Sora, and
Yeah, I
the
was trying to
winner
warm
of
up
the
my
main
brakes
event
going across the
was
rumble
Zach
strip.
Hall.
They
It's
didn't
a
like that.
10-lap shootout. No yellows will be thrown.
And also, we meet again
And the
in person.
highest finisher gets themselves.
This is
I
gonna
told
be
you,
interesting.
And that voice
points.
chat
We'll
that
see if they grab
I
any
wouldn't
more
be
than
far ahead
that.
of you like you
As it
thought.
will be Anthony Gatio, Justin Forbes, your lead drivers, expecting the 29 to be the
I'll
control
see you
vehicle
in the infield
inside.
center.
Who will have the better launch? To watch
All right, here we
out
go.
for.
10 laps, let's do it.
10 laps. Can the drivers that won the main event march their way through the field and maybe steal this one? Or we might see another shining star win this bonus race. It's all about bonus points. It's all about positioning. The Meals on Wheels. Daytona Squiggle is underway. As Anthony Gatio gets a run, Justin Forbes having a little bit of troubles, but everyone's going to get to the inside lane as the 4 falls back.
my God.
Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Making hard contact.
It's a disaster.
Trouble for the 4. The rest of the field. They try to scatter their way forward, but it's already a mess. It's chaos. It's calamity. This is what we wanted. This is what we hoped for. The madness begins.
Oh my God, they're wrecking everywhere, bro.
Now, and the trouble.
There was a corner there,
It's
Richard.
here. Everyone's scattering and wrecking.
But the
That was
75.
I got damaged too. I got hit.
We were expecting to come through the field. You see him parked in the middle, getting it going.
I have to go back and watch that after this is over.
Field like we expected now. A little bit of damage there.
I guess we're throwing people out of the way now.
53, not able to get it fired back up. There he goes. But wow, Calamity Corner definitely. We talked about it. The Hornet's Nest. Those drivers were all over the track. But the Dime Machine, he got doored by the 4, but able to keep it on track and stay in second position. Shane Therian still has a chance.
Yeah, that
to
went
get up
about
there, maybe get around, and he might be able to bring.
Not
it home.
surprising as I thought it would go.
Heavy damage back there. No front bumper on the 16. The 11 of Forbes got damage on the left front. The defender. Drew though, coming up through this field.
I have a suggestion for the next time we do this. How about we just invert the top 10 all morning?
Way to go, Norris.
Required damage, as well as Bronson Stafford. Gonna have to enter pit road after that one lap. The 11 is trying his best to
What a
run,
shit
but
show.
wall for Drew Jua, just nowhere to go for himself. But the pass for the lead is
We got some
underway.
damage. I don't know how bad it is. Probably gonna hurt
Trying to
some
get
straights a
opening
little
to
bit.
get by the 29. Other drivers having troubles. Dan Cochran misses the bus stop, as well as Christopher Norris, who was looking to be one of the favorites for this bonus race. He gets into trouble getting into the
Have it in
tire
one, Trent.
barrier. multiple drivers couldn't get through the bus stop. Major yield penalties scattered throughout the field. It is just a lot of drivers, a huge mess. This is looking more chaotic than it was for that first initial race.
Your right side's clear.
Still, the challenge for the lead is underway with Anthony Gaudio holding strong over Shane Terrian. And also going to be in third place, Tom Borton, Aldo Fonseca, but Cedric Hunter, our biggest
right side. Right side's clear.
Not bad, Dakota.
21 positions from where he started in this race. With
Right.
Wolfsfer behind him, Trent Jump.
Dude, I just got fucking wrecked from the top 10!
Drew Jua, and as well, going to be Vincent Sora as trouble through to turn number 3 of Dakota Moniz. They got
Cody Reed moment.
Right side.
Big passes being made by the 77 and the 15
Still there.
and the 51. They're trying their way to crack into the top 10. Drew Jua has done so, and as well as teammate for the 77 of Douglas Newbigin up to 8th.
Oh, there's action all over
on
the
your
track.
right.
We saw another driver
Get off my
course.
door.
Down there in turn 3, going around the U-turn.
I'm trying to
there.
give you
right.
space.
These drivers, they put on a show, but look at
He's
this
on your
right
right.
here, the 32 machine. He's making ground up. We didn't even get a chance to
Yeah,
talk to
right.
him. One lap down, but he's right
Bro,
there. He's behind
Mark.
the 70 of Aaron Smith the second. We saw having some issues in that first race, sliding off course, but Zach Hall making his moves, trying to get back up there, showing that he might have a chance. And speaking of all that, 75,
You got a problem with her or
he was
what?
off course. He's up 22nd though, able to get back on track and still makes up these
Yellow flag.
passes.
It was an incident.
These drivers are out there
Stop.
hustling hard, trying to get back to the top 10.
Trying to hustle.
No,
the
come
driver
on, brother.
No, I think has to be Vincent Sora. He is 8.7
That was so
seconds
smart.
back.
Right there on
Richard
the exit.
Wolfsberg's going to be having trouble, as well as Douglas Newbigin.
Yeah, I mean,
go off
what do you
course.
expect?
They're on the charge. It's the 51.
Wow.
The leader was
And
just done
Vincent
at
Sora is up to
149.
8th place.
We should do
for
this every week.
himself. Drivers that were battling side by side. This
No.
is the action for 4th place. Cedric Hunter, Ollie Fonseca going back and forth between one another. But a huge
figure
trouble
the
for
guy
Kevin
running
Rogers
WSSR
with a 75
history
machine
to
and Douglas Newbigin
get
up
4
against
cautions
the
areas would do that.
calamity
Off the
strikes
pace.
for that
Sector 3
field
is
as you've seen
1.5
the
off the
75
pace.
machine
Clear on
could
the
not
left.
survive the beginning troubles and get struck by more bad luck.
Oh, I'm so mad. I was in the top 10, dude.
Right front wheel.
Tyler, you have to keep turning.
Replay going to be coming up here very shortly. See what happens.
I had
Gets
a
down there
throw,
into the
go.
bus stop.
To be right there, slips in Douglas Newbigin was just
I had to slow down in the.
and he had his troubles for the 7. And Douglas Newbigin is going to go into pit road. Multiple drivers into pit road required damage. Brian T. Johnson forced into pit
Watch
road.
your right.
Edward Shore Jr. required damage. Bronson Stafford, Justin
Still
Ford,
there.
Douglas Newbigin, Danny Cochran,
Yeah,
Matthew
all you had to
Rodriguez,
do is
Ryan
knock it
Ryan
out.
getting on it a race already. Shocking night all around. And the driver that's loving all this action, Shane Terrian, leading
shit, I was
the
Vincent
way
Sora already up
here
here.
tonight after getting by Anthony Gaudio with all that calamity and chaos. It's the 9. Prime Evil Controllers machine is trying his best to
Oh my
finally get
goodness,
into
dude.
victory lane this season. It's not the race that he would want to win, but at least the victory he could put on and say, hey, at least I won something so far this season when I felt like I've thrown away multiple chances. And what a surprise win it could be here tonight.
Oh, a victory is always a victory. But I tell you what he needs to do is he needs to get going, because there is a guy back in 8th position that has it down to 7.4 seconds that started way back in the field. That's the 51, Vincent Sora, 7.5 seconds with under 8 laps to go. He's going to have to gain about a second a lap, but can he do it? It's going to be close, but I think it's going to be one of those races that comes down to the final lap. It might be another great call here from you and I.
Could it be Cedric Hunter? Could it be Trent Jump? Would it be Vincent Sora based off of just raw pace?
should have did this
Vincent
for
Sora's been one of the
Martinsville.
fastest drivers. He's dealing with a little bit of wounded wounded machine just because of the amount of contact they had to deal with everyone.
Trying to gaggle here in front of me.
Justin Ford still struggling deeper in the
Do that
field.
again.
Almost everyone from about 8th on back is dealing with some type of damage with how chaotic
sorry.
that first wreck was of everyone trying to go through turn number
Oh, I keep
1.
double shifting, dude.
All around, you're trying to steal positions when you can. As the 51 of Vincent Sora
Calm
going for a
down.
2-for-1, he'll take the pass over Tom Bourne and over
you
Ollie
get frustrated, that's when I
Fonseca.
start
Drew
driving
trying to
really
go for a
shitty.
2-for-1 pass as well down into the corner, and it will work out for Drew.
There's an incident
As
in
those
Holy shit.
24, they continue to fall back, and this is about to be a tough time for
Thought we were about to get fucked again there.
There's just much faster drivers going to be trying to get by them as quickly as possible as other drivers continue their way pushing forward. The battle for second place now about to be already underway. Anthony Gaudio, Cedric Hunter. Hunter is catching up to Shane Terrian. Terrian might not be the favorite.
Yeah, I thought we had a good chance of maybe getting a top 10 there. But of course,
in the 51 on who's winning this sprint race with 7 laps to go.
7 to go. Is he going to be able to
get
up
cleaned
there?
out?
4.7 seconds. I mean, he's flying, but it'll be a little bit harder as you get closer to the field. We know some of these drivers are definitely very talented up there, but Cedric Hunter, 1.2 seconds back. Talk about him being one of the biggest movers. He's flying through this field. It's going to be really interesting. These drivers all going to be showing their speed coming on this track with 7 to go, 6 to go. The time is going to be getting less and less fast. Right here, every braking point is going to be able to make up any time. The 13 machine's going to try and catch that 9. You can see the 9 get a little loose there. It gives up quite a bit of time. You saw the back end wiggle.
That lap time was 1:49.63. That's your fastest lap today.
Excuse me, that's actually Trenton Jump. Vincent Sora trying to close in, safe for Drew Jua. They've been staying attached pretty close to one another.
I have no idea how I'm still here.
But Trenton Jump, Vincent Sora, I think it might come down to those two, which we've seen both be very strong. And I think back to our Monday night series, that Freaky Fast covers and the ISRC Truck Series. And both drivers were probably the top road course drivers, especially at this track. Both have won in the trucks.
Okay, Dakota, you need to pass this track. You're losing too much time. On the right.
Take it here at the Daytona road
Still
course.
there.
Also seen Douglas Newbigin
You're on the
ahead,
right.
having some trouble. We'll see how these 7 will get out of the way. He's just so underpowered. I think it's going to be an easy pass. But staying high, and the rest of the field drives on by. And here we go. Top 6 drivers within 4.5 seconds. Top 4, excuse me, within 2 seconds of one another. And every lap that passes, Shane Terrian's lead gets trimmed away. Right in 3:10, almost down to a second. Each lap that passes by, out of 5.5 laps to go.
Inside, Brian, I'll
Hunter
give it
is
to you.
there. And needs a good bus stop, and then he'll have a chance to strike for the lead.
Right for the lead. He's right there. I mean, right there, under 3/10 of a second now. With the 51, he's also lurking. Anthony Gaudio right there, 4th position, started on the pole, running great, staying in the top 5, keeping the car clean. Had that engine problem earlier from the accident. Maybe going to salvage a nice top 6, top 7 position here, potentially. Going to be coming to 5 laps to go, halfway through this race already.
Oh, we're going to top 20, Jesus.
By with all the action. The next 5 is methodically making sure you're going to get by these cars and get in position. Can't make a mistake though. It's under 5 laps to go.
Drew Jua, fastest lap as Cedric Hunter, after crossing the line, takes the lead over the 9 to Shane Terrian. Terrian will just slot it to second.
Okay, Dakota, the next car is car number 40, and their rating is 4.2. We're clear on the left side. International Horseshoe. Looks like it's straight ahead. Fucking hell, defend these positions.
I don't have the speed, man.
That you can put onto your point standings that maybe you were struggling with earlier on. As Cedric Hunter wants to continue to show that he's a strong road course driver as well. Trenton Jump, Vincent Sora, I think those are the 2 drivers I'm keeping my eye on as they could be the favorites to try to win this race if they can get by Shane Terrian quickly. But the lap times, they're starting to equal out. That last lap, it was our 13 machine and Cedric Hunter, Jump, Sora, all ran almost identical times. Drew Jua was the outstanding driver who put down again that fastest lap of the race, but our top 5 all putting out fast lap times except for the 9 Shane Terrian that's kind of just trying to stay afloat.
Hopefully we can hold on the 19th, I guess.
All that speed around, Trent Jump right there. Gonna try and make a move here, getting through the bus stop. Looked like Shane got a little wide there. Gets down there on the curbing to 46. He's got a little run here. Is he gonna poke out high? Hell no. Trying to stay behind, get that draft. Maybe make the move here going down in turn 1 right after the start-finish line. Utilizing the draft here to his
advantage. Did you get a slow down?
Maybe try and get underneath the 9. Yeah, it looks like he pushes him up a little bit, Sam. Gets him out of the way.
Trying to get a bump draft and was almost completely wrong.
Well, he'll probably catch me back anyway, so.
Jump.
4 to go, cross the line.
And that last lap, fastest driver of our top 5 was Drew Jua once again.
The next car is McCann 8, and their rating is 5.0.
He is slightly being ran down, but is one of the faster of
our
top 5.
Thought they were going to make contact there.
Grouping. They're quick, they're fast, and they've got no lap traffic to worry about until this race is over. We look in the middle of the field, driver that's trying to go for another top 10 run. It's the 07 of Brian Noel, who's also having a shockingly decent race for himself after the start of this run. And for this 07, one of our bigger movers of this race, up 20 spots. He started 31st at the start of this race, and he was able to move up now to 11th position, trying to catch up to Ollie Fonseca just ahead of him. I think this 07 does have the speed, trying to make that pass work. Then in front of him, you can see that gray machine with the red, white, and blue, our winner from the main race that got the win that puts him into the playoffs. These are just bonus points for this race. Zach Hall runs at 9th, trying to catch up to Tom Senchak. Wasn't able to get through the field as efficiently as we saw Vincent Sora and Drew Jua and Aaron Smith second do, but gotta say, Justin, I mean, still inside of the top 10, you gotta take that as a big plus on the fact that he went from last here tonight with the second sprint race, thus converting our first race to the second. Him starting only back in third position and being up to 9th. This is an amazing run for the 32 of Zach Hall.
Oh, it's just very impressive to be back in a top 10. I mean, probably took it a little cautious there.
That's unfortunate.
Under
Don't know what
restart.
happened to Nick
Not
there.
wanting to get caught up in too much stuff. Looked like maybe Vincent Sora was able to get through all that. They started alongside each other. Vincent Sora about 7 seconds ahead of Zach Hall, but still, Zach Hall putting on a great show coming through here as we're now with 3 laps to go. And speaking of Vincent Sora, he's looking to make the move here on the number 9 machine if he can get around, which looks like he's going to right now. So
oh, of course, I fucking blow the corner. He blows the corner.
And these two put anything on for Trenton Jump and Cedric Hunter. We're going to have quite a battle, I think, here.
You enjoyed the end of that main race. It almost came down to a side-by-side finish to the line. We might have another one in the books for us here this evening. Cedric Hunter has had a couple of bumps, has been tapped by Trenton Jump. Jump wants to make this pass quickly, recognizing Sora is almost a second behind, and when he hits the draft, he's gonna catch up even quicker. Almost another tap going into turn number 7, now trying to exit onto the oval stretch. And Cedric Hunter's back bumper is going to be ripped apart and gone with the amount of pressure Trent Jump is putting on and the amount of taps that have been placed on that Hello Kitty machine. And now going to be another chance into the corners. Again, 2.5 laps to go into the bus.
Hey, this is a highly competitive league, though, so shit, finishing 17th.
Get into defensive mode. He just saw his teammate do a similar action of just defend, protect the inside lane, and you have a chance to win this race. But you also have much faster drivers behind this 13. Jump wants a chance to redeem himself. Vincent Sora wants to say that he finally won tonight. And Drew Jua, I mean, he's had his ups and downs. That battle for third isn't over just yet.
Oh, got 2 battles going on here. Look at this, 77 maybe poking low. 51 is going to go high, try and get that better arc. 77 is going to follow him up high. Try and utilize a little bit of draft, maybe outbreak him. Not going to do it though. But while we say that, they're still staying right there with the front 2. So it could really be any one of these 4 drivers. Maybe don't count out number 9 back there. Right there, he was leading earlier this race. Just maybe got the tires a little warm, getting under the braking, not having the grip like he wanted. We have a battle here for sure. Cedric Hunter under pressure. Trenton Jump right there behind him. 13 is going to be having to play defense for the next 1.5 laps here to bring home this victory. So we're on board with them right here. You're going to see go over rumble strips, get on the braking right here. Don't want to lock up any tires. Does not do it. Doesn't give Trenton Jump a chance. You see a little puff of smoke though, as I say, just a small amount. Gets Trenton Jump right there, Sam.
It's the exit of the corner where the 13, because he took the wider approach, he's able to hit the throttle and add that longer straightaway to get his foot into the throttle and speed up. But these mistakes looking like a little bit of deja vu for Vincent Sora. He knows he needs to make the pass quickly for second place, but he's just too far back. It's over a second behind between second and third place. It's between these front 2, Cedric Hunter, Trent Jump. Jump only has a handful of opportunities to try to go for a pass here for the lead. It's going to be the first of maybe 4 chances. Coming up to the white flag, right to that back bumper, doesn't give the contact, he stays close, but goes a little bit wide through the center of the bus stop. Cedric Hunter able to pull away, it's almost up to a half a second as they get up to full throttle.
Cedric Hunter must have watched some tape there on Zach Hall and what to do defense, like Zach Hall told us. Got in there a little lighter going into the corner, but made sure he backed up that middle of the entry to get the good run off, and then gaps Trenton Jump going down the straightaway. That was
oh my god, dude.
Defending that bus stop, the all-important bus stop, because he got such a long straightaway. And
I've been making so many just dumb mistakes last few weeks. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
He goes too wide, Trent Jumps there, Jump takes the lead on the white white flag
Frustrating.
as the
Just blew it.
46 takes off. Cedric Hunter just needed to hit his marks, and on turn 1, completely falls apart. Now it's on a trend jump. Will he be able to stay composed and be able to hit his marks perfectly as the 13 just
Oh man, dude, I don't know. I gotta get refocused clearly. I need a break from iRacing, I think.
It is out of here. Trend jump going down to these
I
final couple of
don't know,
corners, the
man.
last horseshoe before we get ready to go back onto the oval circuit. There's just going to be 2 more chances. It's down into this heartbreaking zone, then the bus stop, and that's
Last
it.
2 days on iRacing has been frustrating, man.
Now gonna give the bump, but not close enough to really influence the 13. They're too far back. It's over a half a second. Trend jump. Don't make a mistake at the bus stop, and you find yourself into victory lane and maximizing those bonus points. But again, the bus stop's been a tricky spot. We've seen yield penalties before. You have to be quick, but you can't make a mistake. You got a half a second to work with here for the 46. Hits
Fucking
the
shit,
zone,
dude.
Down into the first curve. Hits the second. Down into the third. He can't cross over too far. And Trent jumps perfect. He hits his marks, but Cedric Hunter has the better run. The 13 trying to utilize the draft, but he's not close enough. The draft isn't helping enough. Trent jump for the sprint race, 10 laps to stay in front of the field. He looked for the mistake, he grabbed it, and he didn't look back. The 46 of Trent Jump, victory lane for the sprint here this evening.
Wow.
Congratulations, 46 Trenton Jump, but I tell you what, 13.
Whatever, I guess we'll take 18.
He put on a really good show that final lap. Maybe I thought he was going to get back by him. I thought the 46 was going to just walk away.
I'm going to punch Tom Bourne.
He really got through that final bus stop and had a chance.
What happened?
Trenton Jump there celebrating. Great earned win.
It's okay, I knew Big and dumped me for top 10 early in the race, so that's pretty cool.
With those bonus points going forward.
It certainly will, and what a run for the field. What a unique circumstance to put these drivers in. Again, that first race, it was the true, official normal points drivers were going for. Bonus points.
So cool to get
I'm
dumped.
jumping over to the second zone.
Sprint, 10 laps, invert the field from where you finished after that first race to where we were tonight of seeing Trent jump. Had to move and be
Holy fuck, that was a shit show.
Yeah.
Cedric Hunter had to move up 24.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over to the second zone over in the other chat and take a look at that restart.
34 position from where he started this race.
Oh god, we got doored. Trenton got turned.
What a run for themselves. But
I just want y'all to know, Trenton did a 360 on the first lap and still won that race.
We'll talk to our top 3 and a spotlight driver from our sprint race. Back right after this.
Impressive. I mean, we were up in the top 10, and wow.
You get an early caution, you got to start thinking, are you going to go in, get some of that fuel, so maybe you could do a shorter stop later. We're not thinking tires.
Here comes the 7 and like a goddamn honing missile.
I think all drivers will definitely change them under the caution, but then
we didn't even have a front end.
I don't know if people will be taking any, maybe just 2. I don't think people are going to want to sit
all right, brother.
I don't know. By the time you fill that fuel up, maybe they're going to get 2 or 4.
I'll talk to you later,
Definitely
man.
be all different kinds of strategies,
boss,
but
man.
if you're starting in the back,
All right.
you got to start running this race in reverse. Trying to figure out how exactly you can get to that.
Yeah, it was a tough race for sure.
Yeah,
but
that's going to be a
whatever.
lot of thinking
We'll take the
after
16th,
stage
18th
over
place.
the first stage.
Decent points in this league, especially with 40 fucking 1
Top
cars,
drivers
so
get bonus points.
it is what it is.
Wanna make
But
sure they're
on to the
up
next
front
one. But appreciate
for
y'all
that
tuning
run.
in.
Majority of the drivers will be starting on the
Getting a live stream
outside,
sometime
but
this
up
week,
front,
some
it's
officials,
Larry
but,
Yingling in the 67, Douglas
yeah,
Newbegin in the
quite the
7.
race.
Your Meals on
appreciate
Wheels
y'all tuning
250
in.
is underway.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one.